Right then guys, how's it going and welcome back to your Premier League predictions, the series where you guys go up against me to see who can get the most correct predictions for the upcoming weekend of Premier League football. Now I am a bit early this week, we are still in the middle of the international break, but the Premier League is back at the weekend and I thought we'd make a jump start. As you might have noticed, there has been quite a bit of Newcastle content on the channel, but it is great to be back doing these predictions as normal. So those were my predictions from the last weekend of Premier League football. It was a tough week. I got 0 correct scores, so not my best effort. Thank you to everyone who got involved in the last video. I had about 4 or 5 people who got 3 correct scores, but just 2 people got 4 correct scores, and those were Ryan and One Way. So well done to both of you guys. Ryan, thanks very much. And I will shout out One Way. They are a YouTube channel. My friend actually runs this channel, and I will put the link down in the description. It's football. He's an Arsenal fan, but he does football in general, so be sure to check that out. And I would also like to start using this moment in the video to shout out my channel members. So if you're wondering what that is, I recently added the option to join and become a member of the Roobenstein YouTube channel. There is a join button down below if you're interested in checking it out. And I got my first channel member, and it is Jabba. So thank you very much, Jabba, for supporting the channel. I haven't advertised this, I haven't explained this. I'm hoping to do a video very soon to explain a little bit more about what the join button does. I'm hoping to bring out additional videos, behind the scene videos, bloopers from the channel that never make it to the channel. As I say, I'm hoping to do a full video explaining what that is. But just as a very first, thank you to Jabba, and generally thank you for you guys watching and subscribing to the channel. I have actually upgraded my camera over the weekend, which again is a big thanks to you guys. Definitely, you can actually start to see the grey hairs in my beard because the camera's too good. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. But massive thank you. Thank you to Jabba. Let's get on with this weekend's predictions. Right then, to start things off, Saturday at 12:30 on BT Sport, we have got Watford taking on Liverpool. So Watford sitting in 15th place. Promoted side, 7 points from 7 games. I think they would be happy-ish with the start. I mean, they've definitely kicked on and got a few good points under their belt. They did lose against Leeds at the weekend 1-0, which, again, I think was a tough game. Taking on Liverpool now, who are sitting in 2nd place, 1 point behind Chelsea, who are in the top spot. And Liverpool are the only team still to go undefeated this season. I'm going to go Liverpool 2-0. I think Salah got his 100th Premier League goal the other weekend, and they are looking really good. And as much as Watford have made a decent start to the Premier League season, you've got to throw it Liverpool's way, I think. Moving on to the 3 o'clock games. Aston Villa taking on Wolves. Aston Villa sitting in 10th place, 10 points, 10th place. They did have 2 good wins against Manchester United and Everton, but then lost against Spurs 2-1 before the international break. Interesting to see how Aston Villa do this season. Again, obviously Grealish went. They've made brought a few players in. Still interested to see if they spend a little bit more of that money in January as well. Taking on a Wolves side who are currently sitting in 12th place. I mean, they lost their first 3 games of the season, and then since then have done a great job of fighting back. I think they've won 3 of the last 4 games now, and that includes a win against Newcastle in their last game as well. So I think this one could be close. I have backed the home side Villa 1-0. As I say, in terms of recent form, Wolves have looked much better than how they started the season, but I've still backed Villa in that one. Moving on, still 3 o'clock, Leicester taking on Manchester United. So Leicester, I would say, have not had the start of the season they wanted, currently sitting in 13th place. The last 3 games, they lost against Brighton, drew with Burnley, drew with Crystal Palace. I mean, I know Brighton have had a fantastic start, but before the season started, I probably would have said them 3 are relegation contenders, or at least teams who were definitely looking to stay up again this season. In fairness, Crystal Palace have had a great start as well. Burnley, not so much. But I think for Leicester, a team who are trying to get into the top 4 would have probably had them 3 down as 3 wins. To come away with 2 draws and a loss, I'm not sure they'll be too happy. I know the Leicester fans had booed Brendan Rodgers after a recent performance because they're not particularly happy with the start of the season either. Taking on Manchester United, who are sitting in 4th place. Again, I would say they have had a good start. Winning 4, drawing 2 and losing 1 of the first 7 games. They drew against Everton in their last game. Ronaldo didn't start, which I think was a big surprise to a lot of people. He got brought on, it was too late, and then he stormed off at the end. So I definitely think all eyes are on Solskjaer at the moment to see what he can do next. But in terms of a prediction, I expect Ronaldo to start now. Don't think you can leave him out after what happened in the last game. I've gone Manchester United 2, Leicester 1. Again, Leicester are the home side. With a big team opposition, maybe that'll spur them on to give it a good go, but that's the way I've gone for. Next up, we have Manchester City taking on Burnley. So Man City are currently sitting in 3rd place, 2 points behind Chelsea in the top spot. They did beat Chelsea just a game ago and then drew 2-2 with Liverpool in the last game as well. So, 2 huge games there. They've managed to come away with good results in both. Taking on Burnley, who, as I just mentioned a moment ago, have not had a great start. 18th place, still yet to get a win. 3 draws, 4 losses. Drew with Norwich in their last Premier League game. So again, Burnley playing Norwich, bottom of the league, who had no points at that time. I think they really would have seen that as probably their chance to get their first win on the board. They weren't able to do it, and I think they're going to have a tough time against Manchester City, so I've gone 3-0 in that one. Moving on, still at 3 o'clock, we have got Norwich taking on Brighton. Norwich, as I've just said, bottom of the league, got their first point on the board at the weekend with a draw against Burnley, but obviously not the return to the Premier League so far that they would have wanted. Taking on a Brighton side who are definitely having the Premier League season that they wanted, currently sitting in 6th place. What a fantastic start for them. Lost just 1 game so far, and they got a draw against Arsenal in their last game. So, Norwich are at home. They're still searching for their first win. Can they do it against Brighton? At the end of the day, any team can beat anyone in the Premier League, and I'll never write a team off. And Norwich is going to have to get a win at some point. I'm just not sure it's going to be this game. So I have gone Brighton 1-0. Next up again at 3 o'clock, we've got Southampton taking on Leeds. Southampton are also still to win their first game, sitting in 17th place. I mentioned obviously Aston Villa losing Grealish, but then clever signings like Danny Ings. I think Southampton so far have looked, and if you're a Southampton fan, let me know your thoughts down below, have looked like they've missed him. I think Ward-Prowse has got the most goals in the league so far, and he's obviously their midfield masterclass. He's got 2 goals. Adam Armstrong, ex-Newcastle player, who looked really good for me at the start of the season, hasn't seemed to quite be able to put the ball in the back of the net. And they lost to Chelsea in their last game. Taking on Leeds, sitting in 16th place, 2 points ahead of Southampton, and they actually got their first win of the season at the weekend against Watford. So, I think it could be close. Southampton home side. Leeds, the unpredictable side for me, because they're able to score many but also concede many. Will Southampton have the chance here to maybe put a few balls in the back of the net? I've sat on it and gone 1-1. Moving on to the 5:30 on Saturday, and it's on Sky. We have got Brentford taking on Chelsea. So Brentford, what a breath of fresh air they have been this season. Currently sitting in 7th place. It's similar to when Sheffield United came up a few seasons ago and stormed the league. It's similar to what Leeds did when they came up. Just it's a bit unknown and no one can quite work out how to beat them yet. So they've looked fantastic. They love their attacking football. The 3-3 against Liverpool the other week was incredible. And then their last match they won with a last-minute goal against West Ham. Taking on the current league leaders, Chelsea, who again have had a fantastic start, bringing Lukaku back. They needed the goal scorer. Although it was actually Werner who got a goal in their last game when they beat Southampton 3-1. Brentford are at home. Do they have enough to beat Chelsea, who have looked great? I mean, they definitely held their own against Liverpool. As I say, they got a last-minute winner against West Ham in their last game. I've gone pretty big here, so I'll love to see what you guys go for. I've gone 2-2. I think Chelsea may be a bit more solid at the back and may not quite let in as many goals, but I'd love to see a thriller for this one. Moving on to the Sunday now, 2 o'clock on Sky, we have got Everton taking on West Ham. Everton sitting in 5th place. Rafa Benitez with a fantastic start. You know, the Everton fans weren't too keen on him before he came in. I'd be interested to know how they feel about him now. Bringing in Townsend on a free, who's scoring goals for fun, has looked brilliant. Again, the draw against Manchester United is their last game when Townsend, in fact, scores a brilliant goal with his wrong foot. Taking on West Ham, who are sitting in 9th. Antonio's come in, he's been scoring goals. They actually got themselves a last-minute winner the other week against Leeds. But then, unfortunately, they were the team to lose to a last-minute goal in their last game against Brentford. So, prediction-wise, I've got Everton 2-1. Again, I think Everton have looked great. I really am not ruling West Ham out at all, though. I think if Antonio turns up on the day and he wants it, he could easily score a few as well. So that's what to look out for. Again, on the Sunday at 4:30 on Sky, we have got Newcastle United taking on Spurs. I bet Sky are happy they bought this game, because I bet they did not know this takeover would have gone through in time for this game. Everything for Newcastle has been pretty good off the pitch the last few days. However, on the pitch, it has not been so good. Currently sat in 19th place, still yet to pick up a win. But Callum Wilson is due to be back in time for the Spurs game, so at least we'll have a striker on the pitch, which we haven't done for the last few games. Taking on a Spurs side who are sitting in 8th place again. I mean, they started the season so well, won the first 3 games, although were looking fantastic, then lost the next 3, but they did beat Aston Villa in their last game. So maybe that win will have put a bit more of a boost in them after having lost a few games in a row. Regardless of the takeover, my prediction would have been the same. I think that Newcastle being at home, we always step up and play better against the teams higher than us. Like we'll take on Southampton or whoever and Wolves, who'd been on an awful start and will be terrible. But then we went to Manchester United away and played really well. We lost 4-1, but we looked better. And we always do this against the teams that we shouldn't have any right in beating. For some reason, we turn up on those days. So I don't expect Newcastle to win, but I'm hoping for a good atmosphere. I've gone 1-1. So I think I would take that now if you offered it, to be honest. And then to finish off on the Monday at 8 o'clock on Sky, we have got Arsenal taking on Crystal Palace. So Arsenal sitting in 11th place. Again, Arsenal like the opposite of how Spurs have done this season. Arsenal lost their first 3 games, but then won the next 3, and then a draw against Brighton in the last game, 0-0. Was a bit of a stalemate, to be honest. Taking on Crystal Palace, who are sitting in 14th place. Again, I would say Crystal Palace have had a good start. Vieira, again, has let a few players go. Some of the older players trying to have a bit of a rebuild going on, so that's going to take a bit of time as well. And they have had a tough start. They have played some good teams, so I think to be where they are after the start they've had, I think they're doing well, including that 2-2 draw against Leicester. You know, I said about Leicester, I think maybe they would have hoped to have won that one. I think it's a good result for Crystal Palace to not only score 2 but get a good draw. So for this one, I've got a bit boring again. I've gone 1-1. Let me know what you think about that one as well. But that is it for me. Those are all of my predictions up there for all of the Premier League games this weekend. As always, get your predictions for those games down in the comments below. As I say, I'm posting this nice and early, so you've got all the way until Saturday at 12:30 to get your predictions in before the Watford-Liverpool game starts. 5 minutes before the kick-off, I will make a note of all of your predictions, and then I will shout out the winner with the most correct scores in my video next week. As I say, I got 0 correct scores last week, so hopefully I can improve and see if you guys can beat me again. Alright guys, as always, thank you for watching. If you're still watching now and you haven't subscribed, then please do hit that button. Be sure to drop a like on the video if you're enjoying the series. But thanks as always, and I'll catch you later.